Well, we talked the other day out on the field, and this phase two is an important. I think this is where guys make the team. Phase one was good. There's a standard of performance, and we've had two really good practices. Obviously, it's just been with spiders on. We'll go with helmets and shoulder pads on Thursday and full pads on Friday. But, the standard that we have, that we're going to hold each other to, we can't, we whatever we tolerate is what we'll become. And so, as a team, we've got to do a heck of a job every day, becoming a master, of what we do and how we do it. And that's been a goal, I know, in 2009. That's one thing we talked about all the time. Knowing what to do and knowing how to do it. And that's what we're doing with a young football team, a young offensive line, some youth in the defensive line. We've got new guys within the program who have done a nice job, who add value to San Diego State football. And, at the end of the day, we want to play fast and we want to play physical. We want to try and perfect every performance we have and hold ourselves to a higher standard. So it's all been good so far. Excited about how the guys came out the last 2 days, and excited we'll have good meetings today, and then excited to get out there in shoulder pads tomorrow.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. We'll open up for questions. We'll start with John.
Coach, hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Typically, when do leaders emerge on a football team? Is it winter, spring, or does it just happen when it happens?
Yeah, I think it differs from team to team. I think it differs in the one thing, like a guy like Caden McDonald. He kind of just how he plays, his energy. I think he established himself. I think some other guys have done the same thing. Sometimes it happens, and it happens. You can have a guy who's a sophomore who, is dynamic, has great leadership, isn't afraid to call his teammates out, because, you can't be friends. You got to be honest. So, I think it varies team to team. I think obviously personalities. The one thing we talk about, you can't be your friend, and the way we'll keep working, and as a coach sometimes you try and put a little more responsibility on a guy to see how he develops.
What do you learn about quarterbacks during spring football?
Well, I think, for us, with really 3 new quarterbacks in the system, there's a lot we're going to learn. I think Brax and Kyle Crum, Will, Lua, I think they all have done a nice job so far, and we've tried to give some more reps to Kyle right now and Brax to see how those two compete, and then we do the same thing with Will. So right now, I like how that group is shaping up. I like what I've seen to this point.
And then lastly, you got a number of players, obviously, in the NFL Combine, a number of former players, right, advancing their career. What's it like for you as a coach when you watch players have success in your program and graduate with a chance to play professionally?
Well, it's always exciting, and we got 6 guys to the Combine, which, is really, really good, really happy for them. And then you look at it as a coach, if you got 6 guys on the Combine, why the hell didn't you win the championship, And I'm being very honest, it ticks me off. But I'm glad they're there, and I'm happy for them. Talked to Cam 2 days ago, so it's exciting. We had Darren Hall was at practice yesterday. It was good to see Darren. It's kind of funny because my brother's his secondary coach at Atlanta, so it's it was good to see him and get with him. But I'm happy for all those guys. Hopefully they can, show out well, and we're proud of them.
What's your brother have to say about Darren?
I'm not going to share that with you, John. Obviously, they like him. He's still with them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, John. We'll go to Kirk.
Hey, Brady, you guys have a lot of returners, but you've emphasized how you have a young team. Can you talk about some of the areas where you're young and what you can kind of do to overcome that going forward?
Well, we number one, our offensive line. I mean, we got 2 returners. Brandon's back, Alma's back. But from there, you got Ross Masuli, Joey Wright, Cade Bennett, the guy off the portal, Christian Jones, Jonathan Harrison, Xavier Leonard. I mean, we are thin there, and we will have more guys coming to us, obviously, in the summer. But that's a young group. Josh Simmons, it's a young group. The thing that's exciting is it's a talented Kirk. There's some guys who have as much talent as I've been around, and so the matter is for them to grow up fast, right, and learn to play with fundamentals. They get away with stuff in high school just because of their size, right? Their size and some of their athleticism. Well, that doesn't work at this level, and so they got to do a great job. We have to do a great job, and believe me, Coach Goff and I have talked about this a bunch, because once you get by about 4 guys on that defensive line, you got a lot of guys who haven't played much football. So it's the same. We got to develop, and we've always been a developmental program. We're not getting 5-star guys, but we're going to develop guys from the weight room with Adam Hall and what he does, and then our coaches throughout the course of the year, and the drills and the fundamentals and those kind of things. So, that Kirk, as much as anything, it's that youth on the offensive line, and then after about 4 or 5 deep on the defensive line.
On the offensive line, is that the kind of thing where no matter how much work you get done in the spring and the fall, you got to kind of have your growing pains once the season gets going? I'm thinking of 2015, and they struggled out of the gate, and then they get on a 10-game winning streak, and I think a lot of that was due to the offensive line's improvement.
Yeah, obviously I wasn't here then, but I would say it's, there's a learning curve, and we're going to try and speed it up as much as we can. And being fundamentally sound, and I'm talking about your stance, your footwork, your hand placement, and then the mental side of it, of finishing. So there's no doubt, I think that could be a situation. We've got some guys coming in the fall, be here in the summer, that I really think are very talented also.
Another thing I wanted to ask you about is the specialist having to replace the punting and place kicking of Matt Ariza. How do you feel about the guys that are coming up and what they can do?
Yeah, I think really like Jack Browning. Really like his demeanor, his mental capacity, his competitive spirit. Very similar to Matt when you watch him run in the winter conditioning in phase 1, and then what he did a year ago in the summer conditioning. Really like what he's done. Delgado, I really like him. He's coming off a surgery. Just started kicking again. Hop is a good Hopkins. Really, he brings a lot to the table. And then Wintermeyer as a snapper, I think he's done a great job. We got to give him a little quicker with it, but I think I feel real comfortable, Kirk, with that group.
What Matt did was historical, especially from a punting standpoint. For the guys coming behind him, do they look at that, or what do you guys say to them? Because you can't have the expectation of having a guy like that every year.
No, you can't, and you just got to be who you are, fundamentally and all that. And I think Deke does a really good job in his coaching and being with them and the expectations. But I think, I think we're in good hands.
Could you see one guy handling all three specialties like Matt did? Or
Yeah,
would you prefer to have it split up this year?
Right now, Jack's doing all three, and we'll see what happens.
And you'd feel comfortable if he took on all those?
Yeah, I do. And this is what month is this? March? Yeah, this is March 2nd, right? So right now, I'm real comfortable.
But things could change.
They always can.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kirk. We'll go to Jake.
Hey, Brady, no offense to the guys you guys have had in the past, but I'm sure you'd like to see more production out of the quarterback position. Do you think that's more of an element of, hey, Aztecs football is we run the ball and we play good defense, or do you think maybe the right guy just hasn't walked into that room to elevate that position?
Yes, that, and the only thing I can say, Jake, is, this is a team sport with 11 guys out there. We got to count on each group of 11 and whoever else hits the field. Ryan Lindley, I was fortunate to have as our quarterback in 09 and 10. And, I think everybody's got to have, do their job. And I'm just thinking, we had VJ, Sampson, Wallace. I mean, we had some receivers who were pretty daggone talented. And I thought Ryan did a great job of running the offense, particularly more in 10 than in 9. But, the only thing I can say is I like where we're at. We're going to be who we are as a football team, and it's going to be a team that, we're going to run the football. And then that's going to open up a whole lot more in the passing game than maybe it has before.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, Jake. We go to Lee Hamilton.
Hey, Brady, what you saw on tape with Braxton at Virginia Tech and now what you've seen through workouts and now that you're actually on the field, what do you think are his quarterback strengths?
Yeah, I think Hacksaw, number one, I think he has the ability to extend plays. He has a great feel for pressure. We haven't hit him yet and done all that, but we have come after him, and we stay away from him, obviously. But he's got a really good feel in the pocket, how to extend the pocket. I think his release is really good. And I think his football, he's a guy who likes to play. He likes to play football. He likes to compete. He likes to jack around with you a little bit. I mean, he's a guy who's got a lot. He's got a lot of moxie to him, and I enjoy that.
A question about all the Division I transfers that you brought in through the portal. What's the learning curve for the Cade Bennett or the kid from Tulsa who's played but now is coming to a different playbook or maybe a different system? Or is it just that their football knowledge and experience helps fast forward your learning curve?
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm going to, two guys on defense for us, Cooper and McDonald and Justice Tavai. One of the biggest pluses for us with them is they're brothers. Believe me, Jonah, he's all over Justice, learning the playbook, knowing what to do. I promise you, Jonah and Justice, there'll be a fist fight sometime, like all brothers should, and because Justice may not know something that he should know within the defense. And I would say the McDonalds are the same way. They're very competitive. They're very prideful of who they represent. But all of them do. So there is a learning curve. Verbiage is a little bit different. This defense, I can promise you, is a little bit different how it's structured and what we call things and how we've called them since 1993. So it's a little different in that way. But the guys have done a nice job so far. I think all those guys, I think Mark Redmond has done a really good job at the tight end position, getting to know that. We've had time through phase one to introduce a chunk of the offense and a chunk of the defense that they all know pretty well.
And one other question, with the transfer portal window still open, how many grants do you have still available if the right guy showed up?
I have one for sure right now. There may be more after spring.